What if I told you that you don't need to study for 14 hours every single day to top your class in your examinations? I'm Manvik, and with my 3-step study protocol, I'll teach you exactly how to top your class without studying for 14 or 16 hours every single day. Part 1: the mindset you need to, to top your class. I like to call this the two equation method. So, you need to understand this. More is not always, most study hours is not always more marks, because when you study for 14 to 16 hours every single day, eventually you will burn out. I'll try to explain I will try to explain you with this an example. Imagine you have to fill a well. Like there's a hole in the ground and you have to fill it with water, and you only have one singular bucket, and you don't have a set and you have to fill it in 6 months of time. How would you fill the well? Would you try to fill the bucket to the brim and then go to the well and then pour the water into the well? Yeah, that would work, and you would fill the well faster, but you will also burn out faster. And if you try to if you try to take less and if you try to take less water in the bucket and go with multiple rounds, that would actually be easy if you are being honest with you right now, because we don't want to burn out before the examinations, because most of us examinations are like 3 months, 4 months, 6 months away, and that's a pretty good amount of time to top your class. And if you try to study like very high hours, like 14 hours, 16 hours every single day, you will eventually burn out. And when you burn out, it's like the whole the whole time period of that burnout season is gone, and you cannot study even after that. It takes a lot of time to recover from that burnout and etc. So you need to understand this. More hours is not always more marks, and actually more hours gives you less marks, if that makes sense, because when you try to study for more hours and hours and you're only focusing on the study hours, then you will burn out. And when you burn out, you will waste your time, and when you wasted your time, you can't cover your syllabus and you can't do everything that we'll mention in this video. And when you can't do all of that, you'll eventually score less marks. That means when you study for more hours, you'll get less marks, if that makes sense. And this has the other way around. When you try not to focus on the study hours and actually focus on what you study and the tips mentioned in this video, then you will actually score more marks. You don't need to you don't need to study the amount you're studying right now to top your class, and you will not burn out. You'll actually enjoy your life because you're having more free time to do the things you actually love. And the byproduct of all this is you get more marks, and eventually you will top your class. And if that's and that's a pretty good like goal everybody likes to have. We want to study for less hours and we want to score more marks, and that's pretty achievable. And by the way, guys, my 100 marks blueprint is entirely free of cost. In the link is in the description. You can follow that 100 marks blueprint, and you can get your first 100 marks in your examinations within 90 days of today. Even if you have never gotten 100 marks in your life, that blueprint will essentially allow you to do so. Part 2: the 80-20 rule. You already know about the 80-20 rule. 80% of results come from 20% of the actions. You already know about that. What's new? Because the new thing here is you are using it completely wrong. The way most people use 80-20 rule is just like they eliminate part of syllabus. If you have 10 chapters coming up in your examinations, most people will say like, oh, only you get 80 marks from only 2 chapters. That might be true, but that's entirely wrong, because 80-20 rule applies to studies in completely different way. 80% of results come from 20% of actions, right? And in your syllabus, if there are 10 chapters, not by most people use 80-20 rule and only study 2 chapters and eliminate the 8 completely. That's wrong. We have to use 80-20 rule chapter wise. If you have 10 chapters, then you will use 80-20 rule in a way, like you will use 80-20 rule for every single chapter. In a chapter, if there are 100 topics, sorry, 10 topics, that's too much, then only two topics will have the highest marks from that chapter. And like that, if you collect all the topics in the examination, say there are 100 topics and 10 chapters, and each chapter has 10 topics, then you only need to cover two topics from each chapter. That is like 20 topics, and you only need those 20 topics to score 80 marks. That's it. And if you also have trouble finding the 20% of the topics that will get you 80 marks in the 80% of marks in the examination, then you can try to identify the analyze the past year papers, in which you can find out the most repeated questions and basically see from from which chapter are most from which chapters topics are most questions are repeating. That way you will have a good idea about what to focus on more studying. And if you are also like, if you also don't want to do this and just have a direct blueprint, and if you want somebody to do the analysis for you, then I also do paid coaching that is linked in the description. You can book a discovery call with me, and we will basically like plan out your blueprint and everything. That's paid. I'm not gonna lie, it's not for everyone, it is paid. But if you are willing to take the commitment, then it will be very very beneficial for you, because I will literally list out the 20 topics which are 20% of the topics which will be coming in your examinations. Like, it's very easy to do. It's very easy to do if you are preparing for any examination. Part 3: past year papers. This is the most overlooked point in the study industry, because everybody says like, yeah, solve past year papers. How? That's my question. Like, simply just telling like you need to solve past year papers is not enough. You need to solve a specific type of past year papers. You should only solve the last 10 to 15 years of past year papers to get a really good understanding of the question paper and the syllabus. And you need to solve 10 additional sample papers that will basically help you get the environment set up for your examination. That will be very very beneficial for you. And when you also solve past year papers, you get an analysis of the question paper blueprint and syllabus overview, etc. You'll also teach yourself how to solve a question paper honestly. That's a win-win situation. That's like hitting two birds with one stone. If you heard the quote, that's very very powerful. I urge you to do that today. And remember guys, my free 100 marks blueprint is linked in the description. It's completely free of cost. It will get you to your first 100 marks within 90 days of today. It's like very very powerful course I've created. You can literally follow the modules, everything, and it will get you to your first 100 marks in your examinations. And yeah, that's it. Hope you found value in this. See you next time. Goodbye.